Here we are, first episode of Life Matters with Mike.
I love it.
The way you're cheese.
It made me laugh because you did a countdown and then you were like, hello, here we are.
I did.
And I was like,
I don't know what else to do. It's fine. It's my first episode. Okay. Life Matters with Mike. Basically a faith and fatherhood podcast. I should probably bring it down a little bit. I just want to make sure I'm picked up in the mic. The Faith and Fatherhood podcast, I think the real reason I did this podcast is because I want to leave a legacy behind to my kids. I've thought about this a long time. I used to think that I would have writings, I would write like journals. And then, when I eventually passed on, my kids would have like these journals of dad's thoughts.
I mean, maybe you should still do that. You're very good.
They would have these journals of my
writer.
Thoughts, my feelings, the things I've learned, the things I thought about, mistakes I've made, and the lessons I've learned from them, that type of thing.
Not a bad idea.
Maybe not, but it's probably easier to just do this in book form. And then they can, they can see me as well as hear me. And also just because, some things have happened in life and you start thinking about your life and what you're going to leave behind to your kids, what you placed in them. And so I decided to do a podcast. And this is obviously my lovely wife, Isha, of 22 years. 22 years, 5 children, veterans in the game.
It's 22? It's 22 and almost. In October.
If you pass 21, it's 22.
Okay.
We can't go back to 21 in October.
Okay.
So 22 years, happily married, 5 children.
Yes.
Across all ages, really.
Yes.
Have a college student, have a high school student, have an elementary school student that's in the 5th grade, so he will be
leaving.
Essentially a middle schooler now, and then a kindergartner and a VPK. So then the kindergartner will continue in elementary school, the VPK will be in kindergarten, and then the 5th grader will be in middle school.
All the levels.
College, high school, middle school, elementary.
And the Todd Squad. And the Todd House. And my mom is here too. So.
And going to high school graduation.
We got Nana and all the wonderful things that come with the color. It wasn't a tweenager. What did they call it?
Tweenager?
No, it was something else. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, so I guess I think probably I don't want to say the most interesting thing about me, but I think one of the most interesting things that's happened in the most recent years is I have fought my way through some serious health issues. Most people that are close to me know this, but anybody that's watching this, anybody that sees, I have fought through a pulmonary embolism, a minor aneurysm, a stroke, and a stage 4 cancer diagnosis, and come out on the other side happy, healthy, whole, well, and learned a few lessons along the way, and I, plan on sharing those here as well. So that's what this is about.
Yes, amen.
So we'll start off with I call it the Big Bad. I stole that from a book. I can't remember the name of the book. It'll come to me later, but it was like when something bad happened, they referred to it as the Big Bad. So I'll call it the Big Bad. Okay. So let's go back to 2020. Yeah, 2020, the summer of the pandemic. I'm starting to feel, I won't say I was starting to feel weird. Well, number one, guys, take care of yourselves. I'm just start with lesson plan 1.1. Guys, go take care of yourselves. When you start feeling twinges and twitches and stuff, go get your annual visit, go get looked at, and also take care of your health. Even if you don't get the annual visit, eat better, work out, exercise, do that type of stuff. I realize now a lot of that was poor diet and poor sedentary lifestyle, that type of stuff. Summer of 2020, I'm starting to feel, it feels like my body's wearing down or breaking down more than average rate, I guess it is. Mm-hmm. Like my back is hurting more, I'm getting tired, I don't really know what it is, and I think, I need to work out more or something like that, I need to get in the gym more. When will I find the time? I've got 4 kids now. Austin's not here yet, Emmy is. But eventually I'll find my way to the gym, something like that. So I decided to go in and get seen. I go take my annual visit, I go see the doctor, who I didn't like, honestly. He was a good guy, he was cool, but anyway. So I go in, they do the whole thing, check your ears, check your eyes, bend over, all that. Let me put the stethoscope on you, listen to you. It's like, everything's pretty good. Your blood pressure's maybe a twinge high, your cholesterol's fine, etc. At this point, there's like a slight little bump on my neck that's starting to come up. He feels it. He's like, well, it moves around or something like that. He's like, it doesn't seem like anything serious. We may have to get an x-ray on it or sometime. But other than that, cuts me loose with a good bill of health. So I'm like, oh, okay, great. So then I continue on. We go through about another year. I come to the next summer. And now I really feel like I'm breaking down again. I'm like, I don't understand it. What is it? So I go to another doctor's visit. They send me in. It still comes back pretty much the same. Blood pressure and all that type of stuff is the same. So we'll get some x-rays on your back. But other than that, everything looks pretty good. But then the pain is starting to increase as we get into the fall. Like my back is hurting. It's very hard for me to sit in one position for a long time. So
Yeah, and it was like this like extreme kind of back pain you were having. I do remember you showing me that it was like a little like when you look at your neck, it was like a little lump a little bit right here. And I was like, oh wow, well, how long has that been there? And you were like, oh no, go to the doctor and see about it, et cetera, et cetera. And that was like earlier in summertime. And then you said the doctor had ordered some tests for you.
yeah,
That
but
doctor.
that was for my back, just to get like x-rays of my back. I just didn't want to do it because the thought of x-rays and then maybe they got to cut in my back or do something like that.
Well, they don't have to cut in your back to do x-rays.
Well, I'm saying
Oh, you
it's
saying,
just how you think. Like,
oh, like if something was there, then now I gotta have back
and they're
surgery.
like, now we got to do back surgery. We got
So
to
I'm
cut
just
your
gonna
back.
not check it out at all. Okay, makes sense to me.
The eyes say, the mouth says yes. The eyes say no.
Sure.
So
Now we're into the fall.
no, we're in the fall. So now I'm starting to self-medicate. I'm taking ibuprofen, 3 or 4 ibuprofen a day. It cuts the pain, allows me to get through the day, allows me to manage. I don't really think in terms of long term, like how long are you going to be taking ibuprofen every day to cut pain? Somewhere in my mind, I'm like, people who've done this,
Take drugs.
they
Sure.
they take a few aspirin or if they cut their pain. Okay, cool. But this might be the life you have to live. That's not really a fake lifestyle.
No.
Check. But it's always like I'll figure it out. I'll get to it one day. Unfortunately, the day came where I had to do it much quicker than I expected. So I'm self-medicating. Not really. I won't say like I wasn't ramping it up, getting more and more and more and more. But what happened is there would be days where the pain would get sharper, and I might increase it. And then as it traveled further into the fall, it did get to where it was very bad, and it was like hard for me to sleep a little bit. And I still to this day don't know why I didn't just like go.
Well, I do remember. So with the year that it kind of came to a head was that Thanksgiving, that Black Friday, obviously, but Austin, our fifth son, was born July of 2021. And then I do remember when all of this broke loose, Austin was 5 months old. But I think that it was kind of all the new, we have a new baby, and we also have a 1 year old because Emmy had not quite yet turned 2. So we have a 1 year old and a 5 month old, and then 3 other children. And that was the year because I remember it was like, hey guys, this is our year of first. And so it was like, oh, it's going to the first grade. It's Caleb's first year of middle school. It's Dylan's first year of high school. And everything was like, and Emmy's 1. So it was all our year first, and Austin was 5 months old. So it was a lot going on just in life.
And you got 5
to
kids.
give you,
When do we have time?
yeah, to
I
give
don't
you
have
a
time
little,
to be
not to give you an
honest about
out,
that.
but you were kind of like just trying to figure out, okay, finances, we're coming off the pandemic. We're still kind of quarantined in 2021 because we have not gone back to church. We're still on virtual church.
I don't think they've gone back to school yet either.
Yes, you could have did. What happened was you could choose. So we had to choose half of, because remember when they were going back to school, we were like, how many kids were in class? And they were like, not a lot. Like Dylan went, but it was like not a lot of kids went back in 2020.
Oh yeah, they were out of school.
And we were like, oh, what if we go up to the roundabout and let's see what happens in the bus? And then I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Caleb and Owen on the bus, and I think Dylan maybe 2 for high school. But we were like, how many kids were on the bus? Oh no, Dylan was on, so we had to drive him. Anyway, they were like barely any, like 3, and we were like, oh, should we have sent you back? Like, when nobody else said, we was like, we don't care, y'all getting out of here. We going outside. So everybody went back to school in fall of 2021. But it was very much still a quiet moment in the world where everyone was still kind of like, ooh, we wear a mask.
Hesitant.
Very hesitant. So there was still that moment going on. It wasn't kind of like it is right now, 4 years later.
Free for all now. So I still.
So that's to give you an out of why you maybe didn't
Thank you for the out. I'm still puzzled.
You had a lot going on.
We did have a lot.
So
two fresh kids during the pandemic.
You're like, oh, let me go. And then the thought that there could be a back surgery or something happening. You're like, I don't have time for this.
I don't have
Let
time
me pray and medicate.
Not pray and meditate. Pray and medicate. That's great. Yeah, so then the pain got sharper and sharper, and then I remember I started taking Bear along with, not that it matters, I started taking Bear along with the ibuprofen, and that seemed to work good. It's so sad that it's like, I hit this, like, I hit the perfect pocket. So then, this should have probably been a red flag that triggered something to me. I remember I went to pick Dylan up from school, because, we school choiced him, so we have to drive him back and forth, no bus. I go to pick Dylan up, and as I'm driving there, I'm feeling, I don't know how to explain it. I felt weird, but I didn't feel bad. I wasn't nauseous. My head didn't hurt. There was nothing wrong with me. There was just some sense that something was off, but I couldn't put my finger on it because nothing was wrong. Nothing was off, but something was off.
Sure.
So I go to pick up Dylan. So then as I'm on my way back and I'm driving back, the best way I can explain it is feels like if you've ever popped like when you pop bubble gum, you don't pop the big bubble, but you pop like a little bubble. It's like a sharp pop. It felt like a sharp pop in my head, like on the inside of my head. And I remember looking over at Dylan, and it took me a long time to remember his name. And then I remember looking back at Emmy and Austin, and I could not remember their names. And so, but other than that, I was fine, which was weird to me. I was like, what is going on? So then I drive home, we get home and, I get everybody settled. And then I go to log into my computer, and I can't remember the password. And that was very alarming to me because I had a computer like, when you have proprietary computers, they just lock automatically. I mean, people have their normal computer locks, but you can change the lock time on it to like, don't lock for an hour, don't lock for 15 minutes, that type of thing. My computer, proprietary, it locked like after 60 seconds. So if you were gone for 60 seconds, if you were looking at a report or something and it went 60 seconds, you look up, your computer screen would be locked. Then you have to type the password in to get back in the computer. So I would type that password in at least 10 to 15 times a day. So then when I get back to the computer, I cannot remember the password to get into it. And I was like, what's going on? And then that's when I think I called you or texted you and I said, pray for my brain.
Yeah, you actually text me. I was at the salon. It was probably like a Thursday or something because it was going to be a late day, and that's the only day I really work late. But you text me, pray for my brain. And then I remember excusing myself for my client, like, excuse me one second, client. And then I came out, pardon me, one moment. And then I went out of the salon and went out. And then I called you and I was like, excuse me? Like, you don't text someone to pray for your brain. What is happening? And so then you explained to me that I was driving and then I couldn't remember the youngest two name, and then I could remember the older was name, and then I couldn't remember my code, and I was like, what? But you kind of downplayed it, like, I'm cool now, like everything's fine. I remembered it. It just took me a little longer, but just pray for my brain. And I don't even know if you told me at that moment about the pop, but either way, I was like, oh, okay. So then I actually prayed, and we said a prayer for over your brain, and
Much needed.
And that was that when we kind of just like, okay, we need to get checked out, see what's going on with that. Let's monitor and see if anything else happens with that. But we didn't understand the gravity of what had happened until months later when more happened, and then they told us what that moment was, which was a mild aneurysm. And the reason we found that out was continue on. So then we're going into the holiday season.
Yes, we are. And just to backtrack for like 2 seconds, you have this very good ability of taking things in stride. So it's like I'll call you, say, pray for my brain. You'll be like, what is that? But you won't get frantic. You keep your calm in times of chaos, which I really appreciate. Really appreciating you, and came in very handy.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So we continue on. And you also told me, like, it's probably because you're mixing medications.
Oh, yeah.
Chill out on that. And I said, oh, okay. So then I backed off the medications a little bit, stopped mixing them, and just did well with that. So then we get to Thanksgiving weekend. We're having a great time. We're cooking, doing the food, the desserts. All right, we're having a great time. Then I get to the Thanksgiving dinner table, and the pain in my back flared so badly that I couldn't sit at the table, and I had to go into the living room and lay on the floor and then raise my legs up on another chair.
Yeah.
And that didn't get rid of the pain. That just made the pain bearable and manageable. It took it away just enough where I could stay, I don't know, downstairs and not go upstairs and curl in the ball or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just remember I had those legs up and I was like, oh.
It was weird because you got her from the table. Now, mind you, I'm she of all things photos, so I'm trying to get the table set, and then we had these new cute little chargers that I had made like that year for my birthday, and that was the first time they were going to be on the Thanksgiving Day table, and we set out all the chargers, set all the places, took pictures, and we're taking pictures with the kids. Yeah, and then we like stood up and took a picture over there that way. So then it was like the time to eat, but you just were kind of in pain, but probably trying to like, it's Thanksgiving. I can't be in too much pain because we got to kind of get through this moment. And then when you got up from the table, I was like, what is this guy doing? And then you were like laying on the floor, but then your feet were up in the chair, in the like formal chair in the family room. And I was like, this is so weird. He has his feet up in a chair and then his back on the floor and he's just laying on the floor. But that was the only way that you could feel comfortable because your back was in such pain. And so I remember just thinking like, I know it's been a lot going on. I've had a baby, then we had the pandemic, then I had another baby, and maybe he's just tired. And I remember questioning, like, are you just tired? Do you feel like it's your time to rest? Have you not had a time to rest? And now you had started, I guess you had been at the job maybe a year or so.
4 months.
Really, only 4 months. Okay,
was
yeah.
there 4 months.
So, and it was a lot
4.5.
of all the, new clients and things like that. So I was like, maybe he's just taxed. And I was like, is it that you just need a break now? You're like, no, that's not it. And I was like, what is your problem? Like, what is going on? Because you weren't really truly expressing how much pain you were in. Sometimes if people don't, you can't gauge what's really going on if you don't express. Like I am in level 10 pain right now. And that's why I ask people like, okay, 1 to 10, where you at? And you also got to take it in stride with the person because sometimes people's pain threshold is not other people's pain threshold.
Right.
And women, we like
don't say nothing to me till you push it, baby. Out your womb.
please, child. So I think not just me. I think women in general kind of feel like men can be babies as it pertains to pain because we live a life of pain, like from puberty on. Like once you hit that moment in puberty, then you have a monthly pain that's happening. You have the the pain of childbirth. You have twinges all during the 40 weeks. Like you just have so much that you're like. So it was hard to get. I said that because it's hard to gauge.
Every time I hear this story, it makes me chuckle and laugh. It's funny, but it is true, and that's why I don't. I wasn't trying to.
Yeah. So you were in pain. It was Thanksgiving.
But I also understand. I was like, my wife has gone through a lot of pain. She's me 5 children and all that stuff, so I understand.
Yeah. But people should not feel like they can't have pain because others have gone through pain, and it's not fair to say you can't have that pain.
It's not that. Sometimes I just feel like, as a man, you got to knuckle up.
I agree.
Sometimes you just like.
I'm not a woman who disagrees with that.
So sometimes I feel like you just got to work through back pain because you're a man. That's just what you got to do. But I think the thing to manhood is also having the wisdom to gauge: is this pain or something wrong? Yeah. And I think I had that gauge off just a little bit. I should have been like, "There's something wrong," instead of like. Well, and also, I had earlier injuries that happened in life that I probably should have got checked out. Yeah. But just because I'm a guy, like I was a high jumper. Yeah. I slammed on my back in the middle of the gym floor. I was stiff for a whole week. Yeah. You ran cross country. So then you're like, is this? I was working like delivering medical oxygen, lifting like 300 pound tanks of liquid oxygen in and out. And the van didn't have an assist. Like we had an old school van, so it didn't have like the motorized thing. Like just lift it. I gotta lift it up and drop it in, that type of thing. I just was like, this might be the cross you have to bear at this point in your life. So anyway, my feet are up in the chair. I'm in this type of pain. Eventually, it subsides a little bit, not all the way, a little bit. We get through the night. It's time to go to bed. I take a muscle relaxer that I got from the second doctor, and it takes about 45 minutes, and then I'm able to fall asleep. I wake up. It's like 6 a.m. My back doesn't hurt. I'm feeling okay, but I wake up coughing a lot. And then I remember I'm coughing, and then I cough up and I feel like it's a loogie. So then I go to spit it. So I go to spit it in the bathroom sink. When I spit it in the bathroom sink, it's a glob of blood. And I'm like, oh wow. And you hear me coughing and you wake up and you're like, oh wow, what? And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
you know what? Because I think I said spit that out. Because whenever I hear people with a lot of phlegm, go to the toilet, spit that out. 'Cause if
don't
you
swallow
swallow it,
it.
I'm like, don't swallow
Turns
it, don't
into a
swallow
test
it.
code.
And I think you want to see it or whatever, so you spit it in the sink, and then you're like, come in here and look at this. And I'm like, it'll gross. And then I come look at it and I see that it's like a blob of blood. And I was like, where'd that come from? I was like, did you spit that out?
And I was like, yeah.
And I was like, is that the first time you spit that out? You're like, I spit a little bit last night or something
Yeah,
like
but
that. You were like, I did spit a little bit out last night. I was like, blood? Like you spit up blood? And then I was like, well, we got to go to the emergency. I was like, we have to go to the ER because we don't spit up blood. Like if you spit and blood comes out as opposed to you brushing your teeth or something
like that,
then
yeah.
I said you are bleeding on the inside, and if you're bleeding on the inside,
we need to figure out.
We need to figure out what is bleeding, and so we have to go.
Yeah, because what happens, I spit out blood, and you were like, nah, we don't spit up blood.
Yeah.
We don't do that. He was like, if you cough again, you spit up blood again, then we're going to the emergency room. And I was like, okay. And I thought it'd be fine. I was like, oh, this is just a one-time
thing. A one-off. I'm happy to wake up coughing up blood.
It's no biggie.
No biggie.
For less than 5 minutes later, I cough and I spit up an even bigger clot of blood. Yeah. This thing is like a giant clot. Yeah. And you're like, let's go. Let's go.
Wrap it up.
Hop in the van. Fortunately, we live close to a brand new hospital.
Yeah. So put your clothes on. We going to ER. And on Black Friday. We thought we were about to go shopping because they're like, it's Black Friday. We're going to go shopping. No. We're going to ER. And we're going to ER. And there was a lot of moments of leading up to that I didn't realize that had happened with you and your family in the ER. But the main thing is I was like, we got to go. And then we had to settle down thoughts and everything like that for going to the ER.
Yeah. So we go to the ER. It's a new hospital. It's very close. It's like less than 5 minutes away. We get there. The ER is essentially empty because it's a brand new hospital.
I have to stop right now.
Oh no.
Yep.
Okay. That's fine. That's a perfect stop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.